Coming up on today's Chiefs Report, could Kansas City sign William Gholston? Pro Football Focus linked him to the Chiefs. Why are the Philadelphia Eagles still whining about Super Bowl 57? We explore that. And is there an underrated receiver on this Chiefs roster that's also being overlooked? We keep talking about DeAndre Hopkins. Maybe he's not necessary. All of that and more coming up in just a few moments. Got to be honest, I like the start we're off to here in the month of July, our subscriber battle with the Raiders Report. We've picked up 41 new subs. Shout out to all of you. The Raiders Report has picked up just 4 new subscribers. Let's keep it up. Let's win in the month of July in terms of new subscribers here on the Chiefs Report. If you want daily content, we've got you covered here on the channel. My name is Harrison Graham, and you are watching the Chiefs Report, which is sponsored by True Classic. Guys, go check out True Classic. Their T-shirts, their polos, their other clothing items for you men out there. Go check it out right now, trueclassic.com/chat. Promo code chat gets you 25% off. Let's talk about William Gholston here, as, again, Pro Football Focus linked him to the Kansas City Chiefs. They did an article of one move each team should still make before training camp, and Gholston was that move for the Chiefs, a player we haven't talked about here on the channel, so I was excited to explore how he's played recently. Brad Spielberger had this to say about Gholston. He says, Gholston's a seasoned veteran who has played at least 400 snaps in 9 consecutive seasons. He can bring experience to a new regime while providing a consistent presence in base personnel on early downs. In 2022, Gholston missed on just 3.9% of tackle opportunities, so sure-handed tackler there. What I like about William Gholston, as you look at the Chiefs' depth chart, is he gives you versatility. He's played edge in his career. He's played defensive tackle in his career as well. Played for the Bucs last year. And what I found interesting diving into kind of his snap specifics on Pro Football Focus, appreciate the data from them, he played mostly defensive tackle last year for Tampa Bay. Now, a lot of 3-down linemen, so defensive tackle. It's not like he played nose. He kind of played that defensive end, which is almost like a D tackle role in a 3-down lineman scheme. So it's different, right? Because the Chiefs do run a 4-3, not a 3-4, but he can kick inside, he can play on the edge. You like that versatility out of defensive linemen. Now, the way he graded out last year, just okay. I'd say like very average, maybe a tick below based on their grading system at PFF. 58 overall, 54 run, 59 pass. 60s is kind of average for their grading scale, so tick below average on how they grade players per PFF last year, but he did play in all 17 games, and I think that's something that really stands out to me when it comes to William Gholston is he's always available. Like, you hope that he gives you a couple of sacks. Didn't have any last year. Maybe the stint at defensive tackle wasn't the most ideal. Maybe he's more natural as an edge where he's played most of his career. I mean, he had 4.5 sacks the year before playing mostly edge, 3 the year before that. So, can he be this year's Carlos Dunlap who gave Kansas City 4 sacks last year? I think that's definitely a possibility. And also he has more versatility than Dunlap, which you like as well. And that's kind of what he offers, right? He's experienced. He's got positional versatility on that defensive line. He's very durable. He has not missed a game in 5 years, which is impressive for a guy who's over the age of 30 now. To not miss a single game in 5 years as a trenches player in this league is pretty unheard of. I mean, it's like a car wreck on every single play going up against offensive linemen. So the fact that he's been able to stay out there and play is very, very impressive. So you know that he's going to be reliable and be a guy that's going to be able to suit up on Sundays. What do you guys think? Should the Chiefs sign William Gholston? Type S for sign or P for pass. Vetman deal, I'm absolutely in. I think there's room for another defensive lineman on this team. And, again, I like the fact that he can play inside and out. So I'll type my S for sign. Why are the Philadelphia Eagles still mad about Super Bowl 57? And look, let me just say this. I don't blame any fans or anyone out there who's still upset. Like, you're always obviously going to be upset when you lose a big game, especially a Super Bowl. But the fact that players are still whining and bitching about Super Bowl 57, I just don't get it. We're going to explore that here in just a moment. But more on a positive note, let's talk about a cool thing, and that's True Classic. Summertime is here, and if you want to upgrade your wardrobe this summer, look no further than True Classic, as they offer the most comfortable T-shirts, polos, rocking one of their golf polos right now. And I've always said this, when you buy in bulk, 6-pack, 9-packs, you get really good deals with True Classic. They have everything you need to build a complete wardrobe, from button-downs to Henleys to polos, jeans as well. If you're looking to look sharp and feel comfortable at the same time, True Classic has you covered. But it's not just about their dress clothes. They also have a line of active clothing, shirts, shorts, joggers that are perfect for anybody wanting to stay comfortable while staying active, especially during the summertime. I mean, it's hot as hell down here in Texas. You want to be comfortable, and True Classic has you covered. And guess what? If you're not completely satisfied with your purchase, they will offer you a 100% risk-free guarantee and easy returns. Don't forget to use promo code CHAT at trueclassic.com/chat to get 25% off your first order. And you also get free shipping on any deals over $100. So the more you spend, you get free shipping. And hey, again, you buy in bigger bulk, you get a better bang for your buck as well. trueclassic.com/chat, promo code CHAT. Go check out True Classic today. Here's Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who, by the way, is not even an Eagle anymore. He's with the Detroit Lions. He says, run that bowl back on legit grass. The D-line smashed that O-line. I'm sorry. He tweeted out a couple of other times, too, because, look, there's been chatter about that field in Arizona. And yeah, I think it's kind of well known that at times that surface, players have been known to slip. That's something that has taken place. Orlando Brown, who's also not with either of these teams anymore either, he's with the Bengals. He says, we talking about grass on the biggest stage. Y'all's rush plan was to win games while rushing 4 with a mix of man and zone, thinking that shit was getting home. X. On top of that, y'all rushed 5 with cover 1 and a splash of 3. Let's not act like the field helped me stop a bull rush. I got to get cleats in the ground to stop it. If anything, it helped y'all. Then Brandon Graham got in on the action. You need that traction to be able to get off the block, and we were slipping a lot. I mean, I don't make excuses. I'm telling you, that O-line, they got blessed. I'll say that. So you make an excuse, then you say you don't make excuses. Here's my thing. It's July 5th, man. Like, it's been 5 months, and I'm not saying you shouldn't be upset that you lost the Super Bowl. It's the biggest game a lot of these players will ever play in. Like, I'm not saying that, but both teams played on the field. The Chiefs had the second-best pass rush in the NFL that year. I'm sure their pass rush was impacted as well. Chris Jones didn't have a single sack in that game. So, look, man, it's 38-35. It was an instant classic. I don't think the field should be the biggest talking point of that game. You don't want to lose that game. Don't have your quarterback, just drop the ball and have it recovered for a scoop and score. Don't let Kadarius Toney run a punt inside the 5-yard line. Maybe you guard somebody while running motion in the red zone like the Chiefs did, and Toney and Sky Moore weren't even defended. Like I don't think you can blame the field for everything when you get waxed for 38 points. Now, if you're still hyped, Chiefs Kingdom, about winning the Super Bowl, type me down below. Listen, if the Eagles are going to keep complaining, you can keep celebrating. I'll just put it that way. Type me if you're still hyped about winning Super Bowl 57. I found this interesting. Richie James, is he an underrated piece on this offense? Well, Bleacher Report took it a whole nother level. They said that Richie James is the second most underrated receiver in the NFL. Now, I don't know about all of that, but let's hear Christopher Knox out here as he explains. He says the Chiefs proved last year that they didn't need an elite wideout to win the Super Bowl. They replaced Tyreek Hill in the 2022 offseason with JuJu Smith-Schuster. Smith-Schuster's production, 78 catches, 933, and 3 touchdowns, paled in comparison to Hill's, but still pretty good, obviously. Kansas City could be at it again after losing Smith-Schuster in free agency and signing Richie James away from the New York Giants. James could end up being one of the offseason's most underrated signings. Now, Richie James quietly was pretty damn good for a Giants passing attack that was very inconsistent last year. Had 569 yards and 57 catches, 4 touchdowns as well. The only thing I wonder about is New York had a pretty underwhelming receiving core. What we've talked about with the Chiefs is, sure, they lack that number 1, but they're like 7 deep at receiver. I mean, you got Kadarius Toney, MVS, Sky Moore. You just drafted Rashee Rice in the second round. Justin Watson, who was a nice complimentary piece last year. Justin Ross, who had a good offseason. So the question I have when it comes to Richie James is, number 1, I do agree he's underrated. He was a good player last year, but I just don't know where he fits. I mean, I feel like he could be as high as the number 2 or number 3 receiver on a very crowded wide receiver room, or like he could be on the roster bubble. I think a lot of this is going to get worked out in training camp and in the preseason. I do think he's an underrated player, but second most underrated in the NFL? That feels like a reach to me when it comes to Richie James. I think this is probably the top thing to watch at training camp is what is the wide receiver pecking order? Because we don't know who the number one is. We don't know who the starters are. We don't know who's on the roster bubble. I mean, there's 7, 8 guys in the mix, and they're not going to carry 8 receivers on the 53. So should be an interesting training camp for the first time in a while at this position, if I'm being completely honest. Let's hear from you guys. Predict Richie James 2023 stats in the comments. If he had 57 for 570 and 4 touchdowns again, I mean, job well done. You didn't spend hardly anything on him in free agency. I don't think he'll have that volume of production because I just think there's too many cooks in the kitchen, as they like to say. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's Chiefs Report. We'll be back tomorrow with another video, so stay tuned, keep it locked in, subscribe, and turn on those noties. And until then, go Chiefs.